Hello, my name is Heather Barrieau, and my students will call me Mrs. B, and I teach both high school biology and high school chemistry. So, a little bit about me is I grew up in Western Washington, um, north of Seattle, and I have a background in environmental science, but graduated with my degree in chemistry before I started my master's in teaching at Western. Today, you will find me in Colorado, and I still love to go explore the outdoors in the mountains and just really enjoy the sun here also. Uh, so, for me, I want my students to understand the whys and hows of the science that they're going to be learning. Again, so I teach both bio and chem. And so, some of the things with biology that we want to work on is why are my eyes blue? Genetics, right? And why do the leaves change color in the fall? Like, what's going on there chemically that causes the chlorophyll to leave the leaf and maybe leave behind those anthocyanins, right? So, or maybe why do onions make you cry? So, those are all the things that I really just love the heart of the question. And we want to explore why that's even happening. And I want to look at it in the big picture of things, but also go down narrow and really look at the chemical things that are happening. Makes it fun for the students. So, one of the main things your students can expect to learn is a strong foundation in either one of those disciplines, right? I always like to circle back to what we have previously learned from the beginning of the year all the way throughout the year. I want to say, okay, remember we learned this at the beginning of the year. Let's apply it a little bit deeper now. And so that's building upon that foundation that we're setting up for them. In both the classes, we have hands-on labs, which is great for both bio and chemistry, where they actually will do their labs in your kitchen or barn or garage, wherever you want it to be done. We have some virtual labs, and in one of my biology classes, we do a genetic code drawing contest where they have to like decode something and then draw something, and that drawing they get to vote on who was the best. So why I like to do that is because some students might not be science might not be their main thing, but yet they're really talented in art, so we can apply some of that art into our biology, which is great. And in chemistry, we make cookies. We decode a recipe from moles into an actual cookie recipe, and they get to make those cookies. So that's some of the fun things that we do in my classes. A typical week for class, you come into class on day one, and we have review. We answer questions if there's anything that needs to be discussed. I call it housekeeping. We practice some problems, and then we start discussing our new topic, and we do some problems with that also. I have a discussion box in my class page, which is great for students because what they get to do is they can participate as I'm asking questions. And sometimes I'll even do polls in class where they actually have to answer the question, not just put it in the chat box, because that way I know that they're participating and paying attention, which is sometimes hard when you're in an online classroom. So other times I will pull in fun videos, or before my biology tests, which is every 1 to 3 chapters, we play Kahoot as a class and they try to beat me, the teacher. Outside the classroom, students can expect 3 to 4 hours of homework outside of class time. Now, if your student is a fast reader and a fast worker, they might be able to get it done in 2 hours, right? But if you have somebody that might be a little bit more meticulous in their work and taking note taking, they could take 4 hours. And if we have a lab, it might your total time for the week would be about 3 to 4 hours. That's usually what I plan on. It may include a worksheet in the lab. It may be a review worksheet and then your test. It may be a lab and a worksheet. There's just a lot of things, but I try to keep that time in that 3 to 4 hours. In biology, we have something called the Big Idea Quiz, which is an open book quiz where they can synthesize their concepts that they're learning about from a practical question. would a sailor become dehydrated from drinking salt water? Good practical question, but we're going to go and answer it in terms of osmosis and body chemistry. Okay. The best way to succeed in my class is to, one, come to class, participate, ask questions, and do your schoolwork, right? That's usually the most common thing. But if there are questions or confusion or something is not being translated properly, um, we set up an office hour and they just need to email me. I don't hold a specific time. I found that that doesn't necessarily work. Nobody ever comes. So it always is better if we have an email exchange. We set up a time and I can answer your students' questions quickly, um, and be a little bit more specific about helping them. And they can come into my live classroom and we can do things on a whiteboard just like you would do if you have a question with a teacher during an office hour. Communication is a huge part of succeeding in online classes. And so whether it's, being just the student emailing with me or coming through the parent, all that's fine. We also can work with your student if they have IEP plans where if they need help on taking a paper test versus an online test, that's always beneficial for some of those students who maybe get anxiety when they take a test online or, are dyslexic and need to be able to take more time and read the questions or have you, the parent, help them read through the questions. So we work with some of those things also. So my desire is to walk with you, the family, the student, through their science years and prepare them for doing college level courses. That's my hope. And so while our homeschool classes allow for flexibility, obviously it's best if everything's turned in on time, but we want to prepare your student for their best work and encourage and give them a strong foundation. So that's a little bit about where I come from in my philosophy on teaching. Again, I teach both biology and chemistry, and I look forward to having your students join me in class. Thanks, guys.